Hello, and welcome to American Literature 1776 to the present. I'm Dennis Jers. I've been teaching literature and writing and journalism and new media classes here at Seton Hill since 2003. Now, most of the works on our syllabus I've read before, and each time I reread them, I find something new in them because I've had different life experiences and I'm a different person. Now, some works on this syllabus I've never taught before. One I've never even read before. But whenever I read a new work, I find something familiar in it, and that's because literature reuses patterns. Not really a formula, but kind of a toolbox of what has worked before. And we call these patterns conventions. Unexceptional writers will follow the conventions as if they're rule books, and they'll give you the conventions and little more. The brilliant writers can do new things within established conventions, or they can break from those conventions carefully and pointedly and deliberately in surprising and effective ways. The more I read, the more connections I make, and the richer my reading experience is when I recognize these patterns. Anyway, those are the kinds of things that I hope we'll be able to talk about over the course of the semester. If you've taken an online course before, you might expect to watch a lecture where the professor gives you facts about, for instance, what the color blue symbolizes in this poem. And you might expect me to tell you that the author of this poem had a difficult relationship with her father, so the hero's struggle to escape the monster symbolizes the author's struggle to escape the control of her father. And you might expect then multiple choice tests in which I quiz you on your ability to recall what the color blue symbolizes, and on how the author's struggle with her father is the key, the one and only correct key that will unlock the one and only correct meaning of the hero's struggle to escape the monster. And you get points for that. Well, you might expect that, but there won't be any multiple choice tests in this class. Yes, there will be lectures, and sometimes we will talk about the symbolism, and sometimes we will talk about the author's biography. But I'm asking you to do something different from listening to what I say or clicking through a PowerPoint presentation that has all the answers and then responding on a multiple choice quiz. What is that different thing I'm going to ask you to do? Well, the first few assignments will introduce the skill of literary close reading. It's a skill that you do. It's not a list of correct answers to memorize and spit back for points. My assumptions about you include that you know how to do the things your high school English teacher asked you to do. Reading a work of literature and looking up unfamiliar words and historical references and identifying and understanding things like the plot and characters and the setting and spotting examples of tone and imagery, understanding the importance of differences between today's world and the world in which the literary characters inhabit. Your high school teachers may have asked you to express your personal reaction to the story, making some connection between what you're reading and your own life. And those are all valuable, good things to do, which is why your high school English teacher asked you to do them. Here we are in a college English class, so I assume that you've done all this stuff that your high school teachers asked you to do, and you're here because you're ready to level up. Now, your high school courses have given you a solid grounding that prepares you to study literature at the college level. You are ready for this. And the first few assignments go into detail about my expectations of a college literature student, and we'll spend lots of time practicing. For our online course during J-term, we have a grand total of 16 weekdays, working days, to cover all the material that a regular semester-long course would cover in 16 weeks. Now, if I were teaching an in-person class, we'd have 2.5 hours of class time each week. And during those 2.5 hours, I'd spend part of it lecturing. We'd have in-class writing. We'd have informal group discussions. We'd have full class discussions. Later on in the semester, we'd add in some writing workshops and student class presentation days. And for our intensive online course, I have to transfer all of those different kinds of in-class activities into assignments that you can do at home. And your command post for this course is Canvas. And Canvas lets you sort courses. Here's the syllabus view. Click on here and you'll see the detailed course policies. I'm not going to go over them in great detail during this lecture. But you can sort it out through modules and so forth. But a really useful thing to look at is this calendar view. And in this calendar view, you can see in each of these weekdays, the university is closed from the 24th through the 1st. But for these other weekdays, just imagine if this were a regular semester-long class. I have got about 4 assignments per week. And just imagine, this is like the homework that you would do before a Tuesday class, and this is what we might do during class on Tuesday, and this is the homework before a Thursday class, and this is what we might do during class on Thursday. Now, I haven't really designed them, to my mind, there's no particular difference between homework versus in class. It's all homework for you. But when you see these 4 assignments per day, recognize that represents about a week's worth of work. And so if you approach it that way, I think it will be sort of useful and understandable. Now, at the end of a course, when I ask my students what advice they have for future students in this class, a lot of them will say, make sure you do all the Canvas assignments on time. Even if they feel like busy work, they're designed to teach you skills you'll need to know in order to do the more advanced work. So bear that in mind. Now, if you are adding into class late, don't worry, do these early assignments as soon as you can. The first set of assignments, I just have them due by the end of the day on Wednesday, and on Thursday, we pick up in the afternoon. If you're looking at this assignment at 11 o'clock at night on Wednesday, don't panic, just do these as soon as you can. I kind of am, even though I have these assignments listed as due, this one is due at 1 p.m., this is due 2, this is due at 3, we don't all have to be sitting at our computers at the same time. It's just, this is when I'm likely to be marking these particular assignments. So if you are busy Friday and you work during the day and a 10 a.m. slot just doesn't work for you, well, do that assignment the day before. Here I have an assignment that's due 4 o'clock on Friday, and I'm really just doing that to show you I'm thinking of these things as about 4 assignments per day. But honestly, really seriously, I'm not going to mark this assignment at 4 o'clock on Friday evening, so I'm just going to move this. You can do that one on Sunday. So I'm giving you a little bit lighter Friday and more time to work on this activity. Again, this is a weird Monday before break, but I have 3 assignments due there. And then we pick up on the 2nd, again with 4 assignments per day. If you want to work ahead, maybe over Christmas break, you might want to read Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which is a full-length novel. All these other assignments are short stories. Rip Van Winkle might take 45 minutes if you were to read it out loud in a normal speaking voice. Same thing with Young Goodman Brown. So these are, gauge your workload that way. If you are a slow reader, these assignments might take you more time. I don't specifically suggest that because this assignment is due at 10 a.m. and this one's due at 11 a.m., I don't necessarily think this is going to take you exactly 1 hour to do. It's just, this is when I feel like I'm likely to be marking these assignments. So don't worry too much about the time. Don't put a whole lot of significance on them. All the assignments have to be due at some particular time. If I made the assignments due at 11:59 every night, I wouldn't mark them until the next morning anyway. So this is why I've got them due mostly in the morning of the day that I plan to mark them. So do the best that you can. If you know you have a conflict, and if you know you're always going to be working during the day, Monday through Friday, then then aim to get this work done the night before. The first assignments, these are all very short. The longest one here is a 45-minute video that I want you to watch. All the other activities, this would represent what we would do in class on the first day. So you don't have to worry too much about that. And the first assignment is just watching this video. That's that assignment here, and responding to it briefly. So anyway, so that's an overview of the class. I just want to, again, draw your attention to the fact that the syllabus is here. If you would like to, if you have questions about due date policy, if you know you're going to be away from the internet, or you're concerned about meeting deadlines, check my course policies. The course policies also include a late pass feature that if you fall behind for any reason whatsoever, you can request a certain limited number of late passes. Take a look at the full syllabus here. And I also want to draw your attention to the fact that the university has some policies on Title IX mandated reporters, and on things such as if you are living with a disability and require some kind of accommodations, there are links there, or descriptions there, of the university's policies there, and that's all part of the official syllabus. I'm not going to go over that in any more detail in this particular lecture. Okay, so if you are adding to this class late, don't panic. Just catch up as soon as you can. And we'll be trying some media tools out for short podcasts. I want to make sure that in any college English class, a discussion is a huge part of how you learn. So I want to make sure that you guys hear each other's voices, not just written in Canvas forum posts, but also actually hearing each other's voices and perhaps seeing each other's faces if you choose to do videos. Many students say they like it when other people do videos, but they're not thrilled with videos themselves. And you may not be a visual learner, and that's fine. So you can do audio if you prefer. But if you haven't done video presentations or media presentations of any kind, we'll have a chance to practice that, so that it will be the idea will be you'll feel like you're less alone if you are hearing the voices and or seeing the faces of your classmates who are going through the same assignments as you. Upcoming assignments will walk you through those media tools when the time comes, and you'll have the chance to practice them on smaller assignments before it becomes really important. Okay, online learning. There are benefits and drawbacks to an online course. We don't have to meet all at the same time during the week, but there are regular deadlines to keep us on track. I do expect that we will be talking with each other about what we're reading as the semester is going, and peer discussion is an important part of that class. And so we kind of need to be literally on the same page, talking about things all at the same time, or else the class begins to feel very alone if you aren't engaging with your peers. So the first few literary works that I'm asking you to read are short stories. I already mentioned they might take you, 45 or so minutes to read out loud. And our longest work is a novel that will take, I'm stretching it out over multiple parts, and that's Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. You might want to start reading that over the Christmas break if you are so inclined to get a head start. Okay, I like teaching an online class because I get to do the work at whatever time is convenient for me. However, I do have to block out time on my schedule to get it done. Otherwise, all the other things that I have exact times for will kind of come first, and this work will fall by the wayside. I already know from experience in teaching online classes. I tell my family, yes, I'm teaching an online class, but pretty much 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning, I'm going to be sitting at the computer, and I will do my day's work until I'm done. That's just my plan. That's how I'm going to do it. Now, some students have told me when the class is over, when they look back, they will say that the Canvas assignments might feel like busy work when they're actually doing them. But later, when they start doing the major assignments, they start seeing how each Canvas assignment is like a piece of a puzzle, and each one builds on the previous assignment so that they all build and prepare you for the major steps and the major work at the end of the semester. So even if they feel like busy work, one student writes, they're designed to teach you skills you'll need to know in order to do the more advanced work. Another student just says, make sure you do all the Canvas assignments on time. So I just want to repeat their advice. English class in high school, you got praised for being able to summarize the plot, or for saying this poem would be more relevant to today's audiences if, instead of classical Greek references, they referred to, today's YouTube stars. And you might have gotten points for kind of rewriting an old-fashioned poem to update it for modern audiences. And I'm not going to be asking you to do that sort of thing. There is a creative activity at the end of the semester where you can really do whatever you want. But for the sort of routine work that I want you to do, the skill that I'm asking you to practice is literary close reading. Now, if you've taken a college literature class before, particularly one with me, then some of this material will be review. In fact, I've reused some of my same materials in different classes to get across this idea of literary close reading. The first few assignments are designed to walk you through what I mean by literary close reading. But if this is all new to you, don't worry. I don't expect you to get it right the first time around. Now, as I record this video, all the assignment due dates and the submission deadlines and most of the detailed assignment instructions are all available online. There are a couple lectures I have to post, a few more details that I have to post. But basically, the course shape is all right there. So I look forward to seeing your work. And the syllabus contains information about how to contact me and what to do if you miss a deadline, and course goals and things like academic integrity and avoiding plagiarism. All those things are very, very important, but I'm just going to refer you to this link and ask you to take a look at that yourself. I do look forward to reading your reflections in Canvas, and I look forward to the media recordings that you'll start submitting eventually. And I am looking forward to spending time getting to know you and getting to know your reactions to American literature 1776 to the present. So happy reading, and I am looking forward to seeing you online.